Hi everyone, and welcome to the palatial Green Park apartment building here in the sleepy town of Yeongam. My name is Dan Glucksness. I've been living here for just over a year, so I want to show you around and give you a taste of what it's like to live in the country. So come inside. So now we're just outside of my apartment here. It's a pretty typical hallway for an apartment building in Korea. Sometimes they tend to be a little dark. As you can see, natural light can be an issue, but at least I'm lucky I get light on the opposite side of the apartment, but a little dark here.
Okay.
So, welcome inside my apartment. I'm going to show you around room by room, give you a little idea of what it's like. One of the biggest benefits of living in a small town in Korea is the fact that almost everyone gets a really big apartment because the rent is cheaper in these small towns, and so schools can afford to give you a bigger place. So now you're looking at the kitchen. It's a pretty standard layout for a Korean kitchen, although I did luck out in the fact that I replaced someone who had been here for a long time, and he left behind a lot of useful things, like this gigantic kitchen table. It's a wonderful tip to anyone. If you get into your apartment and it's a little bare bones and you're looking for some new furniture, Koreans are wonderful recyclers, but they're very bad at reusing things. So that is to say, plastic and aluminum get recycled, but things like this will get thrown away. So you can find some really good stuff. Tables and chairs just thrown out behind schools and hospitals, and clean it up and you've got free furniture. So here we have a typical heating unit for a Korean apartment. They're all a little bit different, but the purpose is basically the same. It's not on-demand hot water, and gas is really expensive, so it pays off to turn it off when you're not using it. So in the morning, or when I want to take a shower, simple on button, and this hot water engages right here, and you've got hot water for the shower. It takes 1 or 2 minutes, and you're ready to go.
Okay.
Now inside my bathroom, a little bit lucky here in that I actually have a shower stall. A lot of Korean bathrooms tend to just have an area used for showering rather than an actual stall. And my favorite thing about Korean bathrooms is you can see everything is tiled, so it makes it really, really easy to clean. Use a detachable shower head, a scrub brush, and a little bit of cleaner, and you can wet the whole thing down, and it all goes right down the drain. Makes it super easy. This is my spare room, well actually one of 2 spare rooms. Like I mentioned before, my apartment's pretty big compared to some others in Korea. I use this for storage of clothing, suitcases, boxes, stuff like that. So it's really nice to have just to be able to put things away, although I feel like I am falling into the trap of collecting too many things that are going to need to go home at some point. An apartment, sort of balcony, wet room, can hang clothing, put plants and things like that. Washing machine is out here. It's very, very handy room to have. And this is my living room, which also doubles as my bedroom. I know it sounds a little strange, but there's really 2 reasons why I do that. Number one is right up here, the air conditioning, which is the very best feature of any apartment, and also the TV is in here. So I use this as my bedroom and living room together. The apartment, our contract states you'll have a bed, something similar to this, chair, and a couch, so not the greatest furniture in the world, but certainly adequate. And now we're outside in the balcony area, and you can see my clothes are drying here. One of the more challenging things I've found about Korea is not having a dryer, especially in the wintertime when it's cold out here. Things can take literally days to dry. But in the summertime, it's not such a big deal. And if you keep after it, you just sort of have to plan ahead what you're going to wear, or if you're going to travel, to make sure that everything has time to dry. Here's a nice high-efficiency top-load laundry machine. Pretty typical issue in Korea. Works really well. It's very efficient, doesn't use a lot of water. If you do like to wash your clothes in hot water, it doesn't use a lot of gas to operate too, which is nice. And of course, air conditioning unit and a lovely view outside of the nice sleepy town of Yeongam. And truly a benefit of living in a place like this is not having traffic and people and car horns and sirens to deal with. It's very peaceful in this town, and one of the reasons I enjoy living here. And finally, the most famous part of Yeongam is Wolchesan National Park. The main peak there is 809 meters, and it's one of the more famous mountains in Korea because it looks very different from other mountains in Korea. And of course, it has a lot of folklore and stories tied to it. So, very interesting place and a very beautiful mountain.